I feel the Spirit moving in me. I feel the Spirit moving in me.
So what if Easter isn't just something we celebrate? What if it is something we become? What if the stone wasn't just rolled away for Jesus, but it's been rolled away for you? What if Spirit is saying to you, it's time. It's time to come out of hiding. It's time to be who you are. Come into the light. Rise. Do as Jesus did. Rise into the perfection of who you are. You know, today we're not just here to celebrate the resurrection of Jesus. We're here to experience our own. Now, I can imagine that we've all had our Good Friday moments, right? Ever been tried? Ever been crucified? Ever felt like a victim? Ever felt hurt or discouraged? Ever been wounded? Never. You know, we are each our own versions of Good Friday. We've experienced betrayal. We've experienced lack. We've experienced fear. We've experienced loss, yes. We've sat in our own tombs of uncertainty, of doubt, of fear, of waiting. And yet, here we are, breathing, alive. At least it appears that way to me. Hoping, and we're ready. Yes? Are you ready? Are you ready? I know who you are. I know the truth of you. I know you're ready because you wouldn't be sitting here if you weren't. So we're going to say the affirmation a number of times today, and I just don't want to dance through it quickly. I want us to contemplate it, to feel it, maybe feel into it a little bit deeper each time we say it. Because my hope is something is going to rise up in you in this service today. So let's say it together, methodically. Together. I rise for myself. I rise for the world. I am the Easter presence, alive, awakened, and unstoppable. I know that's true for you. This talk is titled, Living Your Resurrection. So let's just take a moment and begin by just totally being here in this moment. I invite you to put your hands on your heart and take a deep breath and let yourself be totally 100% here right now, present. Breathe in to your heart. Become aware that you are the perfection of the divine presence. It's not separate from you. It is who you are called to be right now. so it is. I think my screen is having its own resurrection, and it started doing this before we started today, and we'll just pray with it and know that it's going to be okay. I'm going to make one little adjustment here. I don't know if it'll help, but roll away the stone. Right? I rolled away the cursor. We'll see if that keeps us from cursing. Well, welcome to Unity on Maui. Is anybody here for the first time today? Great. Thank you. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Anybody been first time being to a Unity Center or church? Welcome. Thank you for being here. Here we don't just talk about Spirit, but we experience Spirit. Our goal, our mission, isn't just to celebrate something that's out there, but it's about celebrating something that's within ourselves. Call it the universe, call it Spirit, call it God, call it energy. But we're celebrating this connection, this essence, this truth that's within all of us. I like to think that Easter is not a story that's frozen in time, but it's a living movement of love, of light and transformation that's happening through us, through you right now. So I ask you, what is willing to rise in you today? To rise above judgment, maybe, or doubt, or fear. What is willing to rise in you? What can you let go of? What can you release, as we just sang today, that's holding you back from being the most powerful expression of Spirit that you can be, of energy, of love, of light? There's a wonderful story that I discovered this week. And I have struggled with her name, trying to pronounce it correctly. And the closest I can come is Immaculata. And I'm not even going to try her last name. Please forgive me. We are talking about forgiveness. So let me tell you a story about a resurrection. Not from 2,000 years ago, but from our lifetime. She was a young girl in Rwanda when genocide broke out. In a matter of days, her entire world crumbled. She lost most of her family in horrific violence that forced her to hide in a bathroom, a 3-foot by 4-foot bathroom with 7 other women for 91 days. Can you imagine? There was a minister in Rwanda who invited them into his house, and they hid in the silence in his bathroom for 91 days. Can you imagine? They couldn't scream. They couldn't talk. And Immaculata says that was her tomb. A literal tomb. But it wasn't the end of her story. She began to pray in the darkness, not just for her safety, but for the ability to forgive. And she says when she emerged, she wasn't the same. She had chosen to rise. She chose peace. She chose love. She chose compassion. And she became a beacon of light in the world. And we all have our own version of the tomb. We all have challenges or mountains, as we sang a little bit earlier, to climb in our lives. And the question is, will we rise above them? Of course we will, right? Of course we will. You know, Easter doesn't ask if you suffered. Everyone has suffered. But it asks if you are ready. Are you ready to forgive? To really forgive others, to forgive yourself? Are you ready to shine? Are you ready and willing to follow Jesus' example? I like to say that Jesus wasn't the great exception. He was the great example to tell us what we have possible for us. So let's say our affirmation again, perhaps a little deeper. Let's say it together. I rise for myself. I rise for the world. I am an Easter presence, alive, awakened, and unstoppable. You know, each part of this is great. I love this. Easter is not just about what happened to Jesus. It's about what is possible for us. It's about what is possible for you. In Unity, we celebrate Easter not as a doctrine, but as a divine invitation that we accept over and over in the transformation in our lives. It's not what happened to Jesus, it's about what is possible for us. And one of the things I love about our celebration of Easter is the way that we look at the last few days of Jesus' life and how that applies to us, because it's a role model. It's a journey that we take. You might remember in Gethsemane, in the Garden of Gethsemane, Jesus says, "What? Father, take this cup from me." Right? People wonder, did Jesus ever doubt? Was Jesus ever afraid? Yeah. He said, I don't know if I want to do this. Right? I don't know if I'm willing or able to do what I have to do. Have you ever felt that way? Right? Have you ever been faced with a challenge or a loss and thought, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I have the power within me to do this. It's this inner struggle that we have before we experience a transformation. And a lot of times, it seems to me that transformation is what offers us the opportunity for resurrection, for the gathering of the truth, for knowing the truth. Yes? And then the next part is Jesus' trial. And his trial symbolizes the internal and the external voices of judgment and doubt that we have. Can I do this? Do I have the strength? Do I have the love? Do I have the possibility? And we wrestle back and forth with, do I want to face this? How can I face this? Can I, as a human being, face this? It's a time when we doubt our own worth. Ever been there? Yeah. And all of this is just to show us that, we as human beings, we as spiritual beings in physical bodies experience these same things on our journey to the fullness of who we are. And then Jesus' crucifixion is about releasing the false self. It's about releasing the beliefs and limitations that we hold that keep us back. Right? There's things that we are sort of pinned to the cross, believing that we're unworthy, that we're not powerful, that we're not loving enough or able to be loved. And that is what's crucified. Those beliefs, those doubts, those fears are what the crucifixion demonstrates being put to death. You see that? Because what holds us back from experiencing our fullness isn't something out there. It's merely the beliefs, the erroneous beliefs that we have about ourselves. And the tomb is a wondrous place. The tomb is the place, it's the silent place where transformation takes place. Have you ever said, I just need to get away from everything, right? For us here on Maui, I just need to go to the beach, right? Sort of to clear my head and be silent. And it may feel sometimes like nothing is happening. But in the tomb is where transformation happens. So I think it's so important to spend time in meditation and contemplation. Right? And a lot of times if we ask, what is it that is holding me back? What is it that I'm afraid of? What is it that I don't want to do? And then listen. Take a breath with me. Breathing in, breathe. Can you relate to any of this story? Because this is the human story. And I think this is the symbolism of this amazing event and why it has lasted for so many years and why people are gathered all across the planet today on Easter to celebrate it. But most of them see it differently than we do, and that's okay. We all do the best we can do, don't we? And then lastly, the resurrection of Jesus is that awakening within where we get that divine idea and we go, oh, I need to love more. I need to love myself. I need to remember that I'm powerful. I need to remember that I'm loving. I need to remember that someone loves me. It's that dawning, that light that shines, that goes, oh, now I remember. I'm a perfect expression of the divine. Right? Aren't you? You are. And it's so funny because I was raised in a Christian church, and you would never think of saying something like that. It would be what? Blasphemous, right? And isn't that funny? And it's that fear that holds us back from being the truth of who we are and claiming it to the world. I am an expression of God. Say that with me. I am an expression of God. I am a perfect expression of God. Say that together. I am a perfect expression of God. I love the idea of the second coming, right? People, and many people still say that Jesus is coming, Jesus is coming back. In fact, one of the things that Jesus said to his disciples before his crucifixion, he said, and Arnold Schwarzenegger stole from it, but Jesus said, I'll be back, right? I'll be back, right? And okay, he's back. Did you know it? He's back, right? Because he's in this room. He is in every one of us, right? And the way I think the second coming is already here, right? Every time we embrace the truth that Jesus taught, every time we embrace the truth of who we are expressing the resurrected Christ. For Christ's sake! Why is it taking so long? Right? Because we tend to look outside for that Christ. Jesus said, I'll be back. And the disciples all thought that he was going to come back in their lifetime. He told them, I'm back in your lifetime. And indeed, he was. Because they carried his work after he left. And that work that he carried is the work that we get to carry. Woo! That's great, isn't it? Don't you love that part? Wow! You are the resurrected Christ, right? So our journey, what we get to do is to live our resurrection. And we begin that by rising for ourselves. So how do we do that? Because before we can be the resurrection in the world, we need to be the resurrection within ourselves. And what does that mean? To me, we show up for ourselves. That we show up, pay attention, and respond in love. That's all we have to do. Simple, right? Show up wherever you are, be present, be there, be alive, be your true self, and respond in love. Dang, it's too bad we didn't get that tattooed on our arms when we were born, right? Because that's all we have to do, right? And of course, the work that we do on the spiritual path is all about doing just that. Showing up, be present, respond in love. That's it. And then when we do that, we are the presence of God in the world. I am the presence of God in the world. Say that with me. I am the presence of God in the world. Wow, that's amazing. Think of a time when you hit rock bottom and you came back. Can you remember a time when something challenged you and you were able to come back? To be your full self, to live through it, to love through it, to be the presence in it? You know, the resurrection doesn't always mean there's going to be choir singing, right? When we have that resurrection moment, it doesn't mean that everyone in the room is going to break out in singing. It would be nice, right? And sometimes it's just a little nudge, a little knowing, oh yeah, oh now I see. But we're working on that. AI is working on that to make that happen for you. You know, you don't need a choir, but what you need is a whisper of hope, of understanding, and to know that that's happening for you. Let your spirit be your own choir. Let's say the affirmation again, recognizing that we are expressing, we are experiencing, we are being, showing up, be present, and respond in love. Let's say it together. I rise for myself. I rise for the world. I am an Easter presence, alive, awakened, and unstoppable. I rise for the world. How do we do that? How do we rise for the world? We begin that by rising for ourselves, by taking care of ourselves, by doing our spiritual work, for being present. Once we embrace that, then we can let go of all that stuff and rise for the world. This is what I believe that we're called to do. To lift ourselves up in consciousness. Have you ever had somebody show up for you who really saw you, who really loved you, who was really there for you? I think about my 7th grade history teacher, Mr. Cannon. People used to call him good old Mr. Cannonball. He was kind of bald, and he had this kind of mean appearance, right? I mean, when you were in Mr. Cannon's class, you did what he said, right? Because he was powerful, and he would confront you if you didn't. In 7th grade, my dad died, and I took a week off of school. And when I came back to school, Mr. Cannon said, I want to talk to you after school today. So I went back in, and he said, I saw the paper. I know your dad died. And he said, I want you to know I'm here for you. I was getting D's in that class. And he said, I'm going to help you. I'm going to tutor you. I'm going to help you raise your grade in this class. And I'm going to support you. So a couple times a week, I went to his classroom after school, and he tutored me, and he listened to me. I have to say, no one else did, right? Even the minister of my church didn't come and talk to me, but Mr. Cannon talked to me. He saw me. He cared about me. He was living the resurrection. And that's our job, to be the resurrection. You know, we can be the resurrection whenever we choose love, whenever we choose to be true and honest and present. We can rise above our own apathy. And God only knows our world needs it right now. Our country needs it right now, to rise up and be apathetic and to love each other. So take a breath with me. So let's take a moment to integrate what we've felt today. But before we do that, I'm going to tell you another story. I met Father Gregory Boyle. He came to a Unity conference a couple of years ago. And he is a Jesuit priest and the founder of Homeboy Industries in Los Angeles. And this is an organization that works with people that are in gangs, right? And he's got, 2 or 3 restaurants, and he hires people in gangs to work in these restaurants, to cook and to serve and to be present. And he prays with them. He creates a space of healing and purpose and unconditional love in a city that has a lot of violence. Through job training and counseling and community support, he blesses every tattoo that he prays for. He holds their hands and he listens to their stories and reminds us and them that no one is beyond redemption and no life is above raising. Wow. Being an Easter presence in the world doesn't mean being perfect. It means being present, showing up and responding in love. So now, I imagine, just close your eyes for a moment. This isn't going to be a full-blown meditation, but I just ask you to close your eyes and put your hands on your heart. and breathe. And visualize yourself having stepped out of your own metaphorical tomb and releasing whatever fear shows up for you. Releasing whatever story that you're holding on to, whatever doubt that you might be holding on to. And imagine yourself stepping out into the light. See yourself as strong and radiant, renewed. I am ready to rise. Say that to yourself. I am ready to rise. Let your presence be the Easter message. Let your life be the Easter message. And I invite you to bring your awareness back here. So now what? Now what do we do? So how will you be different when you walk out of here today? When you get in your car and back into your life, how will you be different? How will you live your resurrection? What are you rising from? Sometimes it helps to identify exactly what that is. Who is it that, what is it that Spirit is calling you to become? More loving, more wise, more forgiving, more honest, more powerful, more joyful. And how can you be an Easter presence every moment of your life, in your work, in your relationships? You know, the world doesn't need more people who believe in the resurrection. Got enough of those. What the world needs is people who live it. That was Jesus' message. That's the essence of the resurrection. And let's say the affirmation one last time. Let's say it together. I rise for myself. I rise for the world. I am an Easter presence, alive, awakened, and unstoppable. And I invite you to close your eyes. And just breathe into this beingness, into this resurrection of the Christ that you are. And to imagine that right in this moment, there's a light that's shining in your soul and your being that fills every space, every tissue, every thought, every feeling. And this is happening right now. You are resurrected. You are the light of the world. You are the truth, the power, the wisdom of Spirit, of the universe, of God, of energy. Breathing in and breathing out. Why don't we stand and we'll pray the prayer of protection together, and then we've got a fun song to exit with today, which you're going to enjoy, which kind of a song that we did in the day, and this is the day. So let's, for ourselves, for this ministry, for all life, let's pray together the prayer for protection, which begins, the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is.
Where I live, there are